Thanks for tuning into the Trade Setup with me, Niraj Shah, on a waterlogged day in Mumbai. If you made it to office, then well, you braved the infrastructure of the financial capital of the country. It's disgusting really to see what's happening today with Mumbai. But let's take stock of what's happening around the world. Actually, just from a budget per news flow perspective, a couple of things that have happened. Modi government is going to present India's federal budget on July 23rd, so the date is out, the big day is out. It'll be a day wherein hopefully a lot of sectors and a lot of themes which need much needed budgetary support will see some announcements. All eyes on the fiscal deficit, of course, the big thing, and whether the government can do the troika of capex, fiscal deficit, and some bit of consumption boosting spends all together at a point of time when allies are wanting large sums for their states as well. So remains to be seen. But markets and what they've done. So flattish performance, if you will, for the Dow, at least the Nasdaq was up, but futures currently in the red. Asia and whatever little we have right now isn't quite gung-ho, or is mixed at best, let's put it that way. And after a bit of warning that the bank-led moves had for our markets, we are likely to start off on a flat note this morning. The question is, can we build on from there, or will we sulk under a little bit of pressure? I think remains to be seen. What's the trade setup for the day today? I think the cluster of 24,450 to 24,570, broadly that range, is a likely immediate hurdle because it's peppered with technical indicators as well as option strikes, concentrations, and therefore I think that is something that people will keep a keen eye out for if you're actually playing for the upside on the Nifty futures. The problem with the R markets is banks. There's a bearish divergence in the bank Nifty. It probably shows a temporary pause, and frankly, after what HDFC Bank has done, or today what IndusInd, AU Small Finance Bank, BOB, etc. have done, I mean, in a seasonally weak quarter, the numbers have looked wobbly. So therefore, I don't think the bank Nifty now has the fundamental ammo to inch higher. The mantle has to be taken by others. Could energy do it? Could IT do it? Remains to be seen. Let's move on. I mean, I think there are select stocks at 52-week highs, but what I mean to say by this, it's not worded properly, but there is a bunch of stocks which are at 52-week highs, but the number of those stocks at 52-week highs is below the peaks of Feb. Usually when a lot of mid-sized and small-sized stocks, or the number of stocks market-wide, hit 52-week highs, and that grouping is a very high number, then you probably feel that, oh, is the market reaching the peak levels? Thus far, it's below the Feb 2024 peak. If I were to be able to draw a chart, Feb was the highest in terms of stocks at 52-week highs. Currently, we are somewhere here, give or take. So maybe a small this thing, but I think it is energy and IT which probably seem to be the flag bearers of optimism currently. And if Nifty IT and Nifty Energy can borrow the mantle from, or take over the mantle from banks, then the market has some hope of going higher. Else, I would think that it's probably prudent to be a bit cautious currently on the markets. In fact, autos as well and car inventory build-up hints at very tough times for auto, particularly the four-wheeler stocks. So three names out there, right? And all three have done far better. Tata Motors, Maruti, as well as M&M have done way better than what the Nifty has done per se in the last 6 months and the last 1 year. And therefore, you might want to be a bit cautious on autos currently. Maybe not two-wheelers, and two-wheelers have select moves. I mean, Bajaj Auto, the CNG bike launch, has gotten a lot of brokerages excited. But be that as it may, be careful with at least the four-wheeler players. Okay, now let's move on to stocks. Tata Motors, I thought the numbers were okay. JLR wholesale up 5%, retail sales up 9%. Why this is important? Because remember, JLR is going through a bit of a revamp, right? Not too many launches, not too many sales expected from Jaguar, so Land Rover has to take up the mantle of growth as well. And I think this 9% growth has probably surprised the street. Who knows? Maybe this could bring about a bit of a positive reaction for Tata Motors, so that's to be watched out for. Tata Steel. Indian crude steel production is about 5.25 million tons, up about 5%, and the deliveries at 4.94 million tons, up about 3%. On some yardstick, the Indian business, according to the release, saw the best ever Q1 sales. Does this bring about some excitement in the stock? Remains to be seen. So watch out for Tata Steel. That's the other one. IndusInd Bank, I thought was okay. And net advances were up 16%, deposits up 15%. In some sense, CASA ratio at 36.7 versus 37.9. quarter on quarter. In some metrics, according to some analysts, IndusInd Bank missed a trick or two. Yes, it was okay, but not the best update that came in from the bank, and that's to be watched out for. I'll tell you, for example, if I'm not wrong, the Morgan Stanley or the Jefferies note on IndusInd Bank, right? They're talking about how deposit growth is better, but credit growth is slower. LDR is at a 4-quarter low. And I think this is something that might come back and bug bite IndusInd Bank in the session today. So not the best. Morgan Stanley too says that they await details from the loan mix and margin progression, etc. But the loan growth was soft, even as the deposit growth was steady. So watch out for IndusInd Bank in the session today. Let's move on to the next stock, and that's Bank of Baroda. Certainly a bit of an issue on growth. Domestic advances up just about 8.5, deposits up 5.3%. I mean, surely they could have done a bit better, and the global advances were up 8%, which is fine, and even the deposits were up 8%. But the volume growth was muted. QOQ, the domestic loans declined by about 2%, mainly led by non-retail loans, which are down about 3.5% versus a plus 4% growth. So the BOB is the other banking stock that could see a bit of an issue, if you will. There is also Bandhan Bank, remember, wherein the CEO has retired or is retiring, but they've had to appoint an interim CEO, so no succession plan in place. Could that come and hurt the stock? It's a known event. Could it come and hurt the stock? Remains to be seen. Titan, wobbly. Jewelry business just up 9%. Watches and wearables were up about 15%. JP Morgan has downgraded the stock, lowered the FY25-27 EPS by about 5 to 6%, and they've lowered the target price as well to 3450. In fact, I'll tell you, some of the others too have not had a very kind view on Titan. I'll just try and get you the view from Citi, for example, if I can. The point is, some of the others have actually had a good number. Kalyan Jewellers, for example, has actually had a very good quarter versus Titan not having a good quarter. And this is the problem for Titan today. It's not a cheap stock. It's corrected quite a bit, but I think most brokerages, even Daulat Capital, a sell call saying that the numbers don't look impressive. Morgan Stanley has not looked too impressed either. Won't be surprised if this stock sees a bit of a reaction downwards. Then Marico. The Marico update was okay. International business delivered double-digit constant currency growth. Consolidated revenue growth was in high single digits as well, not bad. Operating profit expected to grow, according to the management, slightly ahead of revenue in the quarters to come. The gross margins will expand on a YOY basis in the quarters to come, and the consolidated revenue growth to trend upwards during the year. I thought the commentary from Marico as well seemed okay. The management has noted improved growth trajectory ahead. Watch out for this one, may react positively slightly today. Dabur, Adani Wilmar, the volume growth of 13%, branded exports volume was up 36%. Again, a business which actually has done fairly decent performance, if my reading is not wrong. And Dabur too, I think, noted some optimism around commentary. So consolidated revenue expected to register mid to high single digit growth, and India business expected to record mid single digit volume growth as well. Select gross margins likely to witness some expansion, which is something that is positive. Brokerages are divided on Dabur, by the way. Select people are saying it's okay. Some analysts say that they saw improved demand on sequential basis with rural growth picking up for Dabur, and the management expects improvement to accelerate backed by favorable monsoon. Let's wait and watch if Dabur reacts positively in the session today. Some other news, NLC India emerged as a successful bidder for Machakata coal mine in Odisha. It's got some proven reserves. Let's see if this one reacts positively in the session today. So watch out for NLC India in trade as well. There is Signature Global, which came out with a fantastic Q1 update. Pre-sales up to 55% at 31,200 crores. Average sales realization up 31%, which is positive. On a YOY basis, they saw the best ever quarterly collections of 12,100 crores. And I believe the net debt too has been brought down by Signature Global, if I'm not wrong, sub 10,000 crores. So that was also a good number, if I'm not wrong. So watch out for Signature Global. AU Small Finance Bank, I thought gross advances, sequentially 5% is not a bad number, by the way, must say, for AU Small Finance Bank. Total deposits were down about 0.4%, which is a bit of a concern. CASA ratio sequentially increased, so which is a positive. Let's see if AU Small Finance Bank has a positive reaction. Balakrishna Industries, the export volume growth numbers were very impressive. 23% YOY to 56,590, and the export value about 19% to 209 million. Maybe BKT has a bit of a positive reaction today. Let's wait and watch. Kalpataru Projects could be under a bit of a stick. Bank of Baroda and other lenders have filed a debt recovery application for 753 crores for Kurukshetra Expressway. This one has about 49% stake, yes, in the bank, in the project. So therefore, Kalpataru Projects might come in for a bit of a stick in the session today. Watch out for this one as well. And La Opala will shut down operations at Opal Glass plant in Madhpur. They'll probably use this, dispose of the land, building, machinery, etc. Should not be construed positively because they've had to shut down. In case it was a business decision that they'll move the factory elsewhere and do it, then it could see a positive reaction. Sorry, I do not have a handle on it, I'll be honest. But yeah, this is a development. Depending on how it reacts, we should know what the reason is. And watch out for some of the pharma stocks. Some very strong moves last week. Laurus Labs ended above resistance zone for the first time. That resistance zone was apparently 476. Let's wait and watch if this one reacts positively again. Aztec Life had increasing price and volume momentum throughout the week could be interesting, as also one more chemical company, if I'm not wrong, Shri Pushkar Chemicals, increasing price and volume momentum. Let's see if this one reacts positively in the session today. So these are a few stocks that all of you should keep in mind. Thanks so much for tuning into the Trade Setup.